Hey everyone, welcome back. A few words on government today, or basically, is there such a thing as a best form or perfect form of government? In short, no, there is not. But we're going to delve into that just a little bit. I'm going to make a few points for those of you who think that one form of government or another is better than what you already have. And no, I don't mean that like a capitalist republic or democratic society like we're supposed to have in America is necessarily the best. Although it is a lot better here than it is in most other countries. Oh, this, by the way, this is the second rescue kitty. Say hello. Hi. It's okay, I'll put you down. You want to go play? This is, as many of you are aware, there was a couple of kittens that, when my wife and I were out walking the other day, ran out to greet us, and we took them home, and they're very, very comfortable with people, so I doubt they were born in the wild. They were just left there, which is often the case that we take care of many strays, cats mostly, the occasional dog that get left out in the woods near where we live. Go ahead, go play with your sister. One is a male and one's a female. And I guess he wants to play right now. That's fine, that's all they do anyway. But back to the point. Is one form of government better than another? And that's a huge can of worms because everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to give all of these explanations for why they think this is better and that is better. And right now in the United States is a big push for the concept of socialism or democratic socialism. Even though you can demonstrate socialist and communist countries having massive catastrophic failures in history. Historically speaking, it always fails. Somehow they figure if they do it again, it'll be different. But the reality of it is, any form of government, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's your basic capitalist government like we have in the United States with, your republic, if you will, which is what technically we're supposed to be, or your democracy, or your monarchy, or your socialist government or democratic socialist government as they try to push now that concept, communism, whatever it is, dictatorship, a straight up dictatorship, any form of government can be made to work in a way that is benevolent to the people that are under that government, provided that the leadership in that government can be trusted. And there's your problem. Because no government leadership anywhere in the world, past or present, can be trusted. They can't. They all have their evil inclinations. They all have selfish, greedy leadership that thinks only of themselves. They all have politicians that got involved in politics for self-centered reasons. They pretend to be for the people, and they cherry pick if there's a cause that they think they can use to manipulate to meet their own personal gains or their personal ends, or to help someone in an even higher level of authority that they think they can gain something from. They will cherry pick out these groups and pretend to represent them and pretend to help them, but they don't really. And for monarchy, and I'm not picking on you, dude. I get it. I understand what you're saying. You give some very intelligent responses. There's a guy who goes on about monarchies a lot. He likes the idea of a monarchy, but once again, only if it has benevolent leadership. Monarchies don't have a very great track record either, if we're being honest. I don't think so. Historically speaking, they've been very corrupt, very selfish. They've a lot of infighting, killing their own for position, eating their own literally, arranging for assassinations. There's a lot of mess in monarchies as well, and they're just as dishonest as any other form of politics. And like I said, anybody can make a solid argument for why something works. And by the way, even the Bible warns you not to get a king over you. Warned the people, if you want to look at it from a biblical perspective. But any form of government can be made to work if that leadership can be trusted. And leadership goes on and on about being honest, about demanding honesty, but is not honest themselves, demanding transparency but is not transparent themselves, demanding restraint with spending but spends frivolously. They're all selfish and egotistical and arrogant. And people that would truly be benevolent leaders would never find themselves in those positions because they wouldn't be allowed to get that far. They just wouldn't. They just wouldn't. All you can do is pray that whoever does end up in a leadership position, even though they're stroking their own ego, is going to do some things that at least you'll benefit from. Because if we're being honest, none of us are free. None of us have liberty. Not really. We're all slaves of one form or another. Slaves to the system, slaves to the government, slaves to jobs, whatever and wherever. And that's just the reality of the situation. We're kept, we're farmed. We are farmed people. We're like cattle. Some of us are sheep. Some are sheep, some are cattle, and some are wolves. But that's another topic of discussion altogether. And I don't want to get into it too deep because ScrewTube will give me trouble for it. But any argument that you can make for any form of government, again, they can all be legitimate arguments and they can all make sense. But they all can only work if you have benevolent leadership, and none of them do. Some are worse than others. Some are very obvious, some are subtle. But all of them are corrupt. All of them are corrupt because of the individuals who are in charge. Again, I point out, the United States, our leadership is a hot mess. They are awful and untrustworthy. They are not to be trusted at all. I really believe that. And when you vote, you are voting for the lesser of two evils, and very often been deceived into thinking which is more evil than the other. But in the United States, we still have more opportunity than you do in most other countries. So careful what you wish for if you want to make too many changes. and especially if the government is trying to usher those changes. If they're trying to usher it in, it's most likely not for your benefit, it's for theirs. So be very, very careful. Best example I can give you, and I brought this up before, is the Smurfs. The Smurfs is a benevolent society. Everything is shared. There's no money. They have no use for money at all. And I'll point out, even communist and socialist governments use currency, okay, while you think everything is free. But everything is traded for. Everyone does their fair share of work. Everyone produces just enough for everyone else. And they have a single leader. And they do anything that leader says. Why? Because he is completely honest with them, completely transparent, and every decision that Papa Smurf makes is for the benefit of his Smurfs. Period. Because he truly loves them. Show me any leader anywhere in the world that compares to that. See, if you had that, that country would be a utopia no matter what kind of government it had. So stop worrying about what kind of government is better than another. Worry about who's in charge of those governments, because that's where the real problems lie. So if you get where I'm coming from, please do give the video a thumbs up. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you're new. Share it particularly because it's probably the only way it'll get seen. ScrewTube has really crushed my channel. If you're new to the channel and you're wondering about random cat and or dog pictures or images, they're photos that my wife and I take of strays that we help out, and it actually helps with the YouTube loading algorithm. It's a tip that was given to us by a viewer, and I've gone from like 8 to 10 hours to load a video to less than 10 minutes now. So it does work. If you wanted to help the channel out, or the cats for that matter, I go through a ton of cat food. There are links for that down below. Every little bit helps, and we sure do appreciate it. And if that's it, then what more can I say but stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.